This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in him. This morning we read from 2 Samuel in chapter 6, and in 2 Samuel chapter 6 we see stories of the holiness of God and a correct attitude in worship. So David has decided to move the Ark of the Covenant into Jerusalem, and he sets out how to move it. They lay it on a cart and they begin to move it along. And one of the people minding the cart, a man called Uzziah, stretched out his hand because the oxen stumbled, and to stop the ark falling, he put his hands on it and was immediately struck down dead. David was upset about this and stopped moving the ark and had it placed in the home of a nearby man, and the Lord blessed that person. And so some months later, David decided to move the Ark of the Covenant again to attempt to move it to Jerusalem. This time, he appointed Levites to carry it, and he had acts of worship as they went along the journey. It's important when we come to God, we come God's way. We don't make our own way. The command of the Lord of how to carry the Ark of the Covenant was that the Levites carried it. They were set apart for that task. They made themselves holy. They went through rituals to signify their holiness, and then they carried the Ark of the Covenant along. The first time David tried to move the Ark, he just stuck it on a cart. The second time he came God's way. We must always come into God's presence, God's way, with an appropriate sense of awe and reverence for him. But then, as David is moving the Ark of the Covenant, he's rejoicing that it's coming back to the centre of Israel. It's the new capital, Jerusalem, and it's coming into there. And David is praising the Lord and dancing and singing and shouting and making a real exhibition of himself in worship. So much so that his wife complains. And David says, "I'm so happy, I don't mind. I will become even more undignified than this in praise of the Lord." So even though we are told to come God's way, we come into the presence of a holy God, there's still a place for rejoicing and happiness and delight at God's presence. We don't forget that he is the God of all the earth. He's the creator. He's the Holy One. We don't forget that we are sinful people and we are coming into his presence. But we rejoice that he allows us into his presence. We rejoice that he pours out his blessing on us regularly. And so we give God glory and praise with all of our might. We come God's way, and we come with joy. Amen.